San Diego Global Knowledge University.
Introduction. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, is a big idea that can look different depending on the company and what kind of business it does. Being committed to CSR means a company acts in ways that help society and the environment, instead of hurting them. Technology can help companies set up CSR programs that include making their carbon footprint smaller, which is good for the planet. Companies can not only make their brand stronger, but also help society in other ways, like with education, jobs, and the environment. Being a sustainable and socially responsible company has become a really important plan for businesses. It's a key part of having a good long-term strategy. So, companies need to make choices and create ways of working that help them succeed financially, while also thinking about customers as a very important group for the company's long-term success. But even though CSR is important for the community, it also brings big benefits to the companies themselves. All over the world, companies are coming up with plans to be better corporate citizens and share what they're doing with both their own employees and people outside the company. These people can be a lot of different groups. While companies want to get employees more involved, build brand values, and most importantly, make lasting changes in the local community, getting better at managing CSR for sustainability has become a main goal of their efforts. Modern CSR managers are proactive and help their projects meet the company's big goals. Also, HR professionals can understand their influence and responsibility when it comes to CSR and share this knowledge with the rest of the company to make it part of how the business runs. Human resources can play a key role in making a corporate social responsibility plan, making sure it's put into action in a consistent and effective way. Also, HR departments can reward and encourage responsible choices and projects, and help employees, their families, and other groups work together. Plus, they play a super important part in putting CSR programs into action within companies. They can make the company's brand as an employer better known, strengthen employee commitment, increase value for shareholders, and improve the overall value of the company. Human resources can also oversee how CSR is brought in and manage how it's put into practice, keeping track of and celebrating achievements across the company, and following up on and reporting the results. The world's economic recovery is expected to stay weak for a long time. This is because of slow economic growth and a big change in the economy, moving from just growing a little bit to fixing what's already there. This leaves companies with no choice but to handle this slow change well. With changes in the big picture economy and ongoing adjustments to how industries are set up, problems with companies developing in a sustainable way, like pollution, harm to nature, food safety, worker conflicts, and not being very productive, have become more and more clear. This shows that many publicly traded companies don't really care much about social responsibility. In recent years, several big companies have failed because they didn't take social responsibility seriously. Bad internal control has caused huge losses and even bankruptcy in some cases. Nowadays, social responsibility and sustainable development are getting a lot of attention from everyone in society. Actively doing social responsibility has become a necessary choice for companies that want to grow in a sustainable way. Also, corporate social responsibility is no longer about if it should be adopted, but how to do it. How to meet CSR to promote sustainable development is a question every company needs to answer. Therefore, CSR is crucial for achieving sustainable development. Corporate social responsibility means that companies should protect and improve the well-being of society and organizations, both now and in the future, through different business and social actions. They also need to make sure there are fair and lasting benefits for many different groups of people. Most of the existing writings study how companies develop sustainably from the viewpoint of starting a business and big economic factors. But not many studies look at how social responsibility affects this. So it's really important to find out if corporate social responsibility helps companies develop sustainably. In how companies are run today, bringing in CSR really makes internal controls better and more effective. Internal control, which is a key part of how a company is run, creates a good environment and provides the necessary safety checks for putting CSR into action. At the same time, by actively doing their social responsibility, companies can gain the trust and support of the people they work with, strengthen their resources, improve their reputation and influence in society, and help with sustainable development. The ownership and management rights of a company are separate. Management plays a key role in the day-to-day operations and activities of the company, as well as its future growth. Based on the clear factors from classic economic theories, Jensen in 1993 was the first to point out that executive power can greatly affect how well a company performs. However, classic economic theories assume that all management is the same. Later studies brought in broad characteristic variables, measured by age and education, and used demographic features to show differences in management, partly fixing this problem. It wasn't until Aghion in 2001 suggested the idea of management improvement that it was pointed out that the skills of management teams are different between companies. This can affect how well management decisions work and change a company's future. At the same time, both companies and academics see the quality of accounting information as a crucial base for management to make business decisions and for investors to pick companies to invest in. As governments keep making accounting rules better and strengthen how they watch the stock market, the quality of accounting information has continuously improved and is now almost perfect. When it comes to how good accounting information affects the economy, earlier studies have shown that it can lower the cost of a company's own money, make corporate investments work better, and make capital allocation more efficient, among other good things. In short, few studies look at how social responsibility affects a company's ability to develop sustainably, and even fewer fully analyze how corporate governance changes the relationship between social responsibility and sustainable development. In a tricky economic environment, it's really important to study the link between corporate social responsibility and sustainable development. It's also important to look at how internal control, management skills, and the quality of accounting information affect that link, all from the viewpoint of how a company is run. This study will help us understand how these things work together, add to what we know about how social responsibility affects the economy, and help companies grow in a stable and sustainable way. The idea of corporate sustainability, even though it's pretty new, has grown quite fast. This idea says that it's hard for companies to keep up with a quickly changing society. With many companies failing, it's becoming more and more important for organizations to keep going strong even during tough times. Corporate sustainability isn't just about how fast a company grows, but also about how good that growth is. The theory of corporate sustainable development encourages saving energy, protecting the environment, and making operations more efficient. It also demands that a company's growth fits with the resources and limits of its surroundings, as well as with the needs of society and human development. Corporate social responsibility and sustainable development. Based on the idea of stakeholder groups, corporate social responsibility is a way to measure many different things. From the viewpoint of the new institutional economy, corporate social responsibility means keeping an eye on and limiting behavior that only cares about making money for stakeholders in a market economy. Besides thinking about their business situation, companies need to look at how they affect society and nature. They also need to meet their duties and promises to their stakeholders, like shareholders, employees, customers, partners, the government, and the general public. The way corporate social responsibility helps with sustainable development shows up in two main ways. First, actively doing corporate social responsibility is a good way to make companies more appealing and build a good image in society. Pavla Vrabkova in 2021 points out that doing corporate social responsibility is a process of gathering and combining human, social, and other resources. This helps companies stay competitive for a long time. Lopez Belen in 2022 says that company growth shouldn't just focus on making a lot of money quickly. It should also focus on social responsibility, because this is becoming more and more important for helping businesses succeed and society improve. Second, companies can get a head start in sustainable development by doing well in social responsibility. Dukas John in 2021 argues that when building and growing a company's culture, corporate social responsibility should be fully considered to make it special and effective. Bringing these two things together well can lead to new ideas in culture, products, and processes. This allows companies to get unique competitive advantages and make more money. According to Samet Marwa in 2022, Social responsibility is not just something we have to do because of the times. It's also a key driver of being competitive. As a very important tool, corporate social responsibility can help companies keep long-term relationships, which is good for keeping competitive advantages for a long time. This shows that corporate social responsibility is a win-win strategy. It can bring in new ideas and give companies an early advantage in sustainable development. The moderating effect of internal control. According to the principal-agent theory, the goals of the principal and the agent don't line up. There's an information gap, so you can't expect the agent to always act exactly how the principal wants, especially with risk. The principal can only take steps to make sure both sides' interests are met, which creates what we call agency costs. The main idea of internal control is to deal with this principal-agent problem. It needs to be solved to keep things balanced between everyone's interests in the company, cut down on transaction costs, ease conflicts between the principal and agent, and stop management from acting selfishly, all of which makes the company's profits better. As a necessary setup for companies, internal control plays a big part in how corporate social responsibility and sustainable development work together. In all business activities, internal control checks, processes, and guides the company. The better the internal control, the more the company's actions align with its social responsibilities. As a company activity, corporate social responsibility is always checked and guided by internal control when it's being put into action. This affects how well corporate social responsibility performs. A strong internal control system can really help improve and manage how corporate social responsibility is carried out, making sure things run smoothly and efficiently, and making companies more competitive. When companies are under internal control while doing their social responsibility, they can effectively manage and reduce the risks linked to corporate social responsibility, helping them reach their big goals. A strong internal control system can help companies and governments share information better, making things more open between them. This makes it easier for governments to see how well companies are doing with corporate social responsibility, and it helps companies get government support more easily, which helps them grow in the long run. By taking on their social responsibility, companies can avoid risks related to corporate social responsibility and encourage lasting growth by making their internal control systems and operations better and more standard. So, the stronger a company's internal control system is, the more important corporate social responsibility becomes in helping achieve sustainable development. The moderating effect of management capability. Hambrick and Mason, back in 1984, came up with something called the upper echelon theory. This theory basically says that the top leaders of a company can't possibly know everything about every single part of their organization. Instead, their own ways of thinking and their personal values shape how they understand and judge information. So, what the leaders are like really affects the decisions they make, and that in turn impacts how well the company does. These leaders are at the heart of all the big business decisions. Everything from making products, running operations, deciding where to invest, and managing money, all the way to planning for the company's future. Also, these leaders are in charge of making sure the company acts responsibly towards society, which we call corporate social responsibility, or CSR. Doing well with CSR has a big impact on the company's money in the long run, and how well it's done really depends on how good the management team is. So, good management really affects how well a company does with CSR, and because of that, it affects the company's long-term growth. Past studies have shown that how a company performs in CSR matches up with the decisions its leaders make inside the company, and it's mostly decided by how capable those leaders are. When leaders actively take on their social responsibilities, it really helps the company grow in a good way. Some researchers believe that really good managers can better connect the company's investment choices with its corporate social responsibility goals. This helps them use resources wisely, cut down on costs, get the most out of their CSR efforts, and help the company grow in a way that lasts. At the same time, good management can really help reduce how much information is hidden or unclear. The better the management, the better their decisions will be. This means the information they share will be more easily understood by people outside the company, helping to balance the interests of different groups and encouraging the company to meet its CSR goals and grow sustainably. The moderating effects of accounting information quality. Information asymmetry is when some people in a business know things that others don't. How much this happens depends on what companies and people do. This uneven information and the main problem it causes, called the principal agent problem, make things very costly for businesses. This makes it harder for them to be socially responsible and to grow in a way that lasts. Accounting information is a super important part of what companies tell the outside world and how they are run. It's the most common way to share information with the stock market. What companies choose to share and what's in their accounting reports really helps send signals. Also, according to the top management theory, the people in charge influence and even decide how accounting is done, like what information is shared and how results are managed. Lots of studies show that management really affects how good accounting information is. When companies only share information that helps them, and they mess with numbers and how they show them in financial reports, it often makes the information less trustworthy. This changes how people see the company's performance and its future growth. So even though bad accounting information might help management, it costs the company more in other ways. Being socially responsible can make it less necessary for people to watch over the company and worry about how results are managed. It also protects them from ways of managing results that won't last in the long run. In 2022, Amaran looked at publicly traded companies in different countries. They found that the worse the accounting information was, the more companies messed with their business results. They said that when companies mess with results more, they also act more socially responsible. This is because being socially responsible makes the company look better to the public and makes people trust their accounting information more, which then helps them grow in a way that lasts. It's been shown that good accounting information helps businesses last. Being socially responsible also has a special effect. The quality of accounting information makes the good impact of being socially responsible on a company's ability to grow in a lasting way weaker. Burke did a deep study in 2020 about why companies choose to be socially responsible. This research clearly shows that companies whose accounting information isn't as real or trustworthy tend to be very active in being socially responsible. They do this to build trust with people outside the company or with auditors, to make their accounting information more believable, and in doing so, to help the company grow in a way that lasts, strengthening the business connection with society building. Good, strong, and lasting business relationships today takes a lot of time and energy. And even though many people seem unwilling to put in the effort, these relationships are still a really important and necessary part of any organization's success. In society, people work through relationships, and it's the same in business. However, lasting business relationships don't just happen or stay strong without constant, dedicated work. While there are many strong relationships within communities, not all of them are equally effective. And sometimes, it's not so much what you know, but who you know. People learn over time the skills needed to build and keep relationships. To get and keep both new and old customers, you need to put in resources and invest in building strong, long-term business relationships. These relationships help people see the value of a product or service and reach their goals. Simply put, to be successful, a company must build a good relationship with its customers. This is because building relationships with new and potential customers allows businesses to offer a more personal and engaging experience. This goes beyond just answering emails on time, sending email marketing campaigns with discounts, or being nice on the phone. It means making customer touchpoints better through sales, marketing, and support teams. In many cases, how well a company communicates with loyal customers who are willing to support the business through word-of-mouth marketing shows how good an organization is at building positive relationships with its customers. To make these relationships stronger, companies often use technology and create central control centers to manage, watch, and talk with their customers. Some companies have managed to build stable businesses that have grown stronger over time, while others have faced a lot of ups and downs and eventually closed. While many things affect success, a key step is to build a strong relationship with the customer, who then comes back over time and tells others about the business. A strong customer relationship needs active communication. This means the customer feels comfortable reaching out to the company and its leaders. Customers should feel that the company is available at all times, whether by phone, social media, email, or in person. One of the biggest risks in communication is when the customer doesn't know if the other person truly understands the message they're trying to send. Bad communication at work can lead to a culture of blame and arguments, affecting stress levels when customers don't understand or feel tricked. When a company works well and encourages people to do a good job, it creates a positive feeling. This basic attitude can bring big benefits to any organization. Just recognizing and valuing effort can make people more productive, improve the quality of work, and lead to better results. This shows up in better customer service and a more satisfying environment, which makes the relationships between the company, its employees, and its customers stronger. The company and its contribution to social development. In general, there's a close link between social networks and platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Running corporate social responsibility campaigns as quick marketing stunts can actually backfire if the company doesn't stick with it for the long haul. Some organizations do socially responsible things as one-off events, not as part of a continuous plan. Employees and customers tend to react well to companies that commit to social responsibility for a long time, though not always in the same way. Many economists have supported the idea of corporate social responsibility in business, except for Milton Friedman. He believed that a company's only social responsibility was to make as much profit as possible within a free and fair market, without cheating or lying. According to Friedman, shareholders, customers, and employees could use their own money for social causes if they wanted to. However, he also admitted that sometimes managers could make decisions that were good for the owners in the long run, and these decisions could indirectly lead to good social outcomes. Modern studies and real-world examples show that companies can smartly get involved in socially responsible activities and at the same time, make more money for themselves. Becoming a socially responsible company can be pretty easy as long as you avoid doing things that aren't related to your main business or go against your company's good values. Instead of just giving money away randomly, companies can work with nonprofits, projects, and communities that share their values. Corporate citizenship is one of the most important parts of corporate social responsibility. It helps make sure that organizations act in a way that's good for society. Companies can show this responsibility by donating money, products, or services to social causes and nonprofit organizations. Even though big companies usually have more resources, even small businesses can make a big difference. One of the greatest things a company can encourage is creating and sharing knowledge. By adopting socially responsible standards early on, even before they're required by law, companies can set good examples and improve how they do things over time. These actions can truly make a difference in society and attract both customers and employees who care about social issues. Social and environmental programs and corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, is all about businesses, the ones that want to make money, teaming up with important causes and good social programs. Recent studies show that over half of employees would pay more for products and services from companies that care about making a positive social and environmental impact. And get this, 2/3 would rather work for those kinds of companies. CSR lets both big and small companies make good changes, which helps everyone, society, and the company's success. Customers feel like they're doing something good when they buy from socially responsible companies. This builds trust and keeps them coming back. As a company gets more well-known and successful, it also has a bigger responsibility to its employees, their families, and the community. Even though we often think of CSR with huge companies, more and more small and medium-sized businesses are making it part of how they do things. Starbucks is a great example, known for really caring about social and environmental issues. Nowadays, customers, employees, and investors all care about social responsibility, so CSR has become a super important part of how businesses operate. Conclusion: businesses are like hybrid organizations that want to make money, but sometimes they find it hard to balance making money with helping people. Companies that do more than just regular corporate social responsibility are often called purpose-driven organizations. This means that helping people isn't just a small part of what they do, but it's built into their business plan and how they operate. A social business uses market strategies to create good social and environmental change. At the same time, it tries to make money and also have a good impact on society and the environment. However, social entrepreneurs face big challenges. These include getting money, needing to come up with new ideas, and feeling pressure to get quick results. Even with these challenges, corporate social responsibility helps businesses last longer. It also lets companies grow and change in a way that fits with what's important for the environment and society in the 21st century.
San Diego Global Knowledge University, Education Beyond Boundaries.